down and play the South champion USC Trojans. Unfortunately, with the continued positive cases that we've seen come throughout our program in the last couple of weeks, and also one of our key position groups, our offensive line in particular, that whole unit is currently, we have positive cases, and through contact tracing, we have 0 offensive linemen available to play. I know this is devastating news to our team, our fans, and everybody that supports Husky football. Was looking forward to us trying to bring home that Pac-12 trophy this Friday. I do want to say that our team, the members that have tested positive are doing well. They have mild symptoms and nothing extremely serious. And that's what I really want the focus to be first and foremost. This has always been about health and the safety of our players and our staff. And thankfully, they are on the road to recovery, and we're excited to get those guys back here soon. Which brings me to the second part of our goal is to win the bowl game. And we feel once we're able to resume football activities, when we have some consecutive days here of not having positive cases in our footprint, and then also getting back the players that have tested positive in the last couple of weeks, along with the guys in contact tracing that are quarantined, we'll be able to get those guys back, resume football activities. And I know our team is excited for the potential of a bowl game here in the next couple of weeks. This is a young, talented team that is very competitive, and I think you've seen is very resilient. And we are hopeful and excited to be able to play a postseason game here once those get announced here in the next 7 days. And so with that, I'll open up to questions.
All right. Our first question will come from Dave Mahler. Go ahead, Dave. I will make you allowed to talk, but you do have to unmute yourself. So please unmute.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Jimmy, as you kind of look forward here, is there a chance that you could play another game before the bowl, or are you just in reality kind of focused on getting that bowl game no matter where and when it is?
Yeah, the timing of everything that we've heard, the next game would be a bowl game. All the games for the Pac-12 are scheduled for Friday and this coming Saturday. We're in no position currently to even start resuming practice. And so you have to be able to practice to play a football game. And then so in reality, when you look across the country, the teams that have been shut down by the virus, they've missed 2 games consecutively in a row before they were able to fully get everybody back into the building, back healthy again. And so the way the timing looks, it looks like the bowl week schedule of December 26th on would be the first chance we would legitimately be able to get our team back here, training, practicing, get guys out of quarantine to be able to play a football game.
All right, we'll go to Mike Vorel with Dennis Dodd on deck. You are open to speak, Mike. Unmute and speak. Thank you.
Yeah, just for Jimmy, I'm wondering, you guys obviously did a good job throughout most of the season in keeping the virus out of your building, like you always talk about. Do you have a sense of how this happened, how this started, where this came from, anything like that?
Yeah, Mike, it's interesting. I read the paper every day and pick up the New York Times, and this virus is just spreading across the whole country. It's spreading across the whole country, and it seems like it doesn't cherry pick where it's going to go and where it's not going to go. It goes everywhere. And like you said, our guys did a fantastic job, and they continue to do a really good job of doing all the stuff that our medical team has advised them to do. Unfortunately, this virus is it's wicked, and it's extremely infectious. We are seeing that right now, and we had been seeing that for months now with other teams that have felt the veracity of this thing. But Rob, I don't know if you want to jump in there. You may have more to add there.
No, I think you summarized really well, Coach. Mike, this thing is highly contagious, and even when you do everything the right way, it's really hard to get a handle on. The one thing we do know, we don't know a ton of stuff about this, infection, but what we do know is the only way to stop the spread is to quickly identify cases, to isolate individuals with cases, and quarantine people who are potential cases. That's the only way to stop this thing. And that's what we're doing in our program right now. We're going to do the right thing for our community, for the campus, obviously for our team, for our staff and student athletes, health and wellness. And so that's kind of why we found ourselves where we are right now, and attacking this thing the only way that we know how.
All right, we'll go to Dennis Dodd. Go ahead, Dennis.
Yeah, Jimmy, sorry about this. I didn't catch you earlier. What's the soonest you could get back on the practice field?
And so what we need to do is we need to have consecutive days of 0 positive cases. We're planning on testing our whole team again tomorrow. But I can say this, over the last week and a half or so, that has not been the case. We've had positives. And so the soonest we'll be able to get back and we'll be allowed to practice is when we have some consecutive days with 0 positives. And so until that point, we won't be able to practice. Now, we will have a bunch of guys coming off of quarantine, like I mentioned earlier, and guys that did test positive a couple of weeks ago will be out of isolation, and we know we'll be able to get those guys back. But yeah, our whole team is in isolation as we speak, and I know they're doing everything they can to try to resume football activities.
All right, we'll go to Tim Booth, who'll be followed by James from the Oregonian. Go ahead, Tim.
Jimmy, last week on your radio show, you kind of talked about how the cases were sporadic and didn't sort of make sense. I'm wondering if you could walk us through the timeline of when that became more focused on specific position groups, like you said, with the offensive line and the progression of the cases since the middle of last week.
Yep. Rob, you want to tackle that one?
I'll take that one for you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we obviously, part of the way that we've wanted to manage this, this whole time was and keep our student athletes safe was through regular testing. And we saw our first cases way back the Friday before the game we played against Utah. But those cases were single isolated cases. We worked really closely with the COVID response and prevention unit here on campus and public health to track those cases. And there wasn't anything that specifically linked those cases together. As soon as we saw, this past week, as we were preparing, we were obviously excited about the opportunity to play Oregon, but we saw a jump up in cases on Tuesday of that week, and that's what spurred us to shut down our operation. So we stopped on Tuesday because we wanted to be able to take some time to figure out where these cases were coming from and try to dig deeper into that. And then obviously because we know that's the only way to stop the spread of this virus. So I would say, Tuesday of this past week is when we sort of started to really take a stop. And at that point, we still, the reason why we were being super proactive is because we wanted to be able to play against Oregon. And obviously we wanted to be able to play moving forward, but we wanted to do that the right way. And we knew that in order to be able to safely do that, we needed to stop the spread of this virus within our team. And our path back was to wait until our test brought back negative results. And we just haven't been able to get to the point where we have all negative results on our tests. Until we do that, obviously, we're going to continue to do the right thing and keep everyone separate to try to decrease the spread of this illness within our team.
All right, we'll go to James from the Oregonian. James, go ahead.
Jimmy, one of your thoughts is between losing out on this opportunity and last week and what's gone on in the South Division as well, your thoughts on this season and that is for the conference and the, relatively speaking, lack of integrity in terms of what has been determined on the field. You guys didn't get to play Oregon. Now there's a change to the championship game. Everybody seems to be in favor of SC because they're undefeated, but Colorado didn't get to play them either. Your thoughts now that we're at the end of this thing of just what this season has meant or not to the conference?
Yeah, that's a lot there. This whole season has just been obviously a tremendous challenge for everybody. I do know this. The Pac-12 leadership was trying to do what was best for the health and safety of our players and our staff through every single decision that they made, from going to the Pac-12 only, and then to eventually canceling the season, and then to eventually bringing it back. It's just been every decision has been for the health and safety of everybody involved. I think now, if you look back on it, now that we sort of know a little bit about this, this disease, if we would have had the Pac-12 only schedule, that started on September 26th, we definitely would have had way more wiggle room as a conference to replay games, make up games. And so, just for us, speaking for us, we would have been able to redo the Cal game, most likely. We would have been able to redo the Apple Cup. We would have been able to replay the Oregon game. And then it would probably be a better picture for a South champion and a North champion. Now, with all that being said, the Pac-12 laid out rules and tiebreakers for who would win the South and who would win the North, depending on how many games were played and how many cancellations were played. And right now, it's exactly followed the way that those rules were written out. USC is the South champion. We are the North champion, but now we're unable to play. And now Oregon, it would be the next team in the mix, and they would go. And then if for some reason one of those two teams can't play this week because of the coronavirus, I believe it's Colorado that'll be next in the mix. And that's the way the rules were laid out. And so in this challenging year, we're just following the rules that were laid out there in front of us.
All right, we'll go to Dan Raley, and then Lauren will be next. Go ahead, Dan.
Jimmy, of the positive tests on your team, what's the number? What's the total number of your guys?
Oh, yeah, I'll kick that to Rob.
Yeah, good question. I know a lot of people are interested in the total numbers. It's been our policy as athletic department to release our positive cases within our entire athletic department on a weekly basis. We'll continue to do that on Wednesday. Part of the desire in that process is to protect the protected health information of our student athletes. So we're going to continue to follow our protocol for doing that. So you can see our case results on Wednesday when we release those.
All right, Lauren Kirschman and then Chris Fetters. Hold on one sec. There we go. Go ahead, Lauren.
Yeah, Jimmy, obviously, this season's had a lot of disappointments. You've had to have a lot of these kind of conversations with your team, but what's the message to them now? And how do you kind of keep them focused for a potential bowl game and get through this disappointment?
Yes. The message is this, our goal is to win the Pac-12 championship and to win the bowl game. That's our goal every single year. And so the message to our team, which I spoke to just before I'm speaking to you guys, was just that. Extremely proud of them for putting themselves in position to bring home the Pac-12 trophy. And extremely proud for the 4 games that we did play and how resilient we played, how hard we played in all 4 games. It wasn't perfect by no means, and we never said we were going to play perfect football. But I am very pleased, and our staff is very pleased for how hard those guys worked in those 4 games, how they prepared in practice, and for the results that came out of it, being 3-1 with one of the games that we felt we left a lot out there. And had we played better and not made some of those mistakes, we could have easily had an unblemished record. And so now the message is this: we got to get healthy, and we have to try to accomplish the second part of our goal, which is to win the bowl game. And like I said in my opening comments, I think we have a young, talented, energetic, resilient team that I know our fans want to watch, and I think other people in the country would want to watch. And we're excited at the possibility of being selected in a bowl game and going out to attain that second part of our goal, which is to win a bowl game.
All right, we'll go to Chris Fetters. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, this question is for Rob. Rob, I was curious, what was the number of total cases and tracing numbers right before the Stanford game? And can you talk about how close that game may have been to potentially being canceled?
Yeah, good question, Chris. Like I said, I don't want to get too deep in the weeds on just the specific, details of the cases that we've had. I can tell you that prior to the Stanford game, we were dealing with single isolated cases that had been spread out, not more than one case over the course of a day. Through the course of that week, we'd been able to contact trace and isolate people in a way. Obviously, that allowed us to continue to practice and prepare. And I think that's what's keeping us, from being able to move forward right now, is the inability to safely return our team to the footprint to practice and prepare for games. That's really what's keeping us out. It's not the cases. Obviously we know that there are cases everywhere right now. And the most effective way to prevent continued spread is to isolate positive cases, identify them as quickly as possible, and isolate them. And we reached a point where we couldn't continue to do that. And then, as Coach Lake alluded to, we actually have one position group, because of that approach, is completely unavailable to our team for play this weekend, which we're just going to have to move forward, have a couple of days of negative cases so that we can feel good that when we bring student athletes back into our footprint, they're not bringing the virus back with them. And then we'll move forward and we'll prepare for our bowl game and we'll get ready to play.
All right, we'll go to Dennis Dodd and then Mike Vorel. Go ahead, Dennis.
Yeah, just to be clear with Rob or Coach, is there any way you could have gone up to Friday the way things stand right now, and gotten cleared to play in this game? In other words, you're done today. There's no way you could have tested positive 2 days in a row and gotten on the field by Friday.
Correct.
There's nothing at all. Our offensive line is completely gone. We cannot play and we cannot practice. We have not practiced since last Wednesday. Our offensive line is completely unavailable until the following week. There is no way we could wait at all. We cannot play football. We couldn't play football last week, and we cannot play football this week. I don't know if you want to add on to that, Rob, at all.
Yeah, and that's because of medical protocols. That's obviously our players. They're going through it right now. They want to be able to play, but we got to do the right thing, from a medical standpoint, and that's what's keeping us from being able to move forward.
All right, we'll go to Mike Vorel, then Larry Stone, and with the hands that we have up now will probably be it. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, just two quick questions for Jimmy. I just wanted to clarify on the offensive line detail. Is that scholarship players or is that every offensive lineman in terms of the roster that's unavailable right now? And then the second part of that is, you mentioned the bowl game and preparing for that. Have you talked to the players and gotten the sense that those players all want to play? Because obviously we've seen, cases nationwide where some teams have decided not to. Is that a sense you've gotten from the team as a whole, or how did you sort of gather that opinion?
Yeah, so the second part of your question, yes, our team is extremely excited to play in a bowl game. We know that's one of our goals that we lay out every single year. I don't know if you guys know this, but our team loves to play football, and we love to go out there and compete and try to win championships and try to win bowl games. And they were completely crushed that we could not play last week, and they are devastated now that we cannot play this Friday. So we are extremely excited at the possibility of getting everybody healthy first and foremost, and then seeing which game that is and trying to go out there and bring that bowl game championship trophy back here to the University of Washington. And the first part of your question, that includes walk-ons and scholarship players. We have 0 offensive linemen available to play this week.
All right, we'll go to Larry Stone. Go ahead, Larry.
Yeah, Jimmy, knowing what you know now, all things considered, all the trials and tribulations that the Pac-12 went through this year, do you feel it was worth it to try and stage this season?
I do, Larry. I really do. I mean, what I wouldn't take back is any of those 4 games that we played and all the preparation that we had. Our exhilarating comeback win against Utah. I know our staff and our players will remember that for the rest of their lives. The execution we had in the first 2 games, all the young guys that we were able to put in the game against University of Arizona. And then even our Stanford game. I mean, we know we made a bunch of mistakes, but we were still able to fight back, and we were a possession away of going down and winning that football game. And then to also be able to say we're the Pac-12 North champions, and we were getting ready to represent the Pac-12 North, when I'm sure nobody felt that we were going to be in this position at all, to be able to represent the North and go down there with the potential of winning the Pac-12 championship trophy. So this is what we do. We coach and our players play, and that's what we want to do, and we want to do it safely. And we feel we try to do everything, to try to make sure we stay safe and we're on track to play football. And unfortunately, right here towards the end, that virus crept in this building and has put us to a halt right now. But I look back on it, I wouldn't change a thing. We want to play, and we don't want to just sit on the sidelines. We want to play.
All right, well, I'll take 4 more questions. Mazvita, Kim, Dave, and then Dennis. Go ahead, Mazvita.
Yeah, hey Jimmy, I just wondered if you could talk about just the overall life lesson for the kids here in terms of you control the controllables. There's some things you can't control, but you've got to move on, band together, and continue with life.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of lessons obviously from this year that you can learn from. Resiliency really comes to my mind, and we, not only us, I think everybody, non-football players and everybody in the world right now has been resilient through this pandemic and being able to bounce back after blow of our normal lives being changed. But I'm very proud of them for that. And then I think also a thing that has come of this is being grateful that we do have our health. And there's a lot of, I know everybody's devastated, and I know Husky Nation's devastated that we're not going to be able to go challenge for the Pac-12 championship trophy on Friday. But we also have to be grateful that we have our health. There's a lot of people that have contracted this disease, and they're no longer here. So I think grateful has got to be also a big learning lesson for our guys.
All right, 3 more. Kim Grinolds, go ahead. Actually, it's not allowing me to let Kim talk because you're using an older version of Zoom, it says. So I'm very sorry about that, Kim. We'll go to Dave Mahler. Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, Jimmy, 2 questions for you. Number 1, to realistically be prepared for a bowl, I believe the first contracted bowl game is on December 26th.
29th.
29th. Okay. How many practices would you need in reality to get ready for a bowl game? When would you have to be back on the field, I guess, for that particular game, which I believe is the Alamo? And then number 2, do any coaches have COVID on your staff, or is this just a player situation?
Yeah, so we are in really good condition. Our strength and conditioning staff has done a phenomenal job of ramping these guys up when we need to ramp them up and slow them down when we need to slow them down. We are in really good condition, even though we haven't been on the practice field since last Wednesday. And I mean, so realistically, we would only need 3 to 4 days to practice. Now, before that, we need to get the guys back in the building, lifting, running again, those sorts of things. But in terms of just practice, I would say 3 to 4 days would be good enough. And so we're talking about, we're on this is Monday. We're talking about basically a week from now. Hopefully, we have some back-to-back positive results, not positive results, positive views, negative results, and then we can get everybody back in this building, and we'll have more than 7 days to prepare for a possible December 29th bowl game. So I feel very, very confident that we'll be able to do that. And then I guess I'll let Rob. We haven't had, thankfully, a lot of staff. I don't know how you want to answer that, but go right ahead.
Absolutely. I can tell you, obviously, we want to protect the private information of our staff as well, but we have had positive cases within our staff, to answer your question, in our athletic department. Yes.
All right, we will wrap things up with Dennis Dodd. Go ahead, Dennis.
Jimmy, again, thanks for doing this. Just from a competitive standpoint, if Oregon wins this thing, how should the Pac-12 championship be viewed?
I mean, Oregon, they would be the Pac-12 champion. They're in the championship game. That's how I see it. I mean, this is competition, guys, and I love it this way better than people voting and looking at some vote. Let's settle on the football field. We're unable to play. That's unfortunate, obviously, for our fans and our staff and our players. But now that's the next team that's in the game, and they're in the game. And if they win the game, then they should have the Pac-12 championship trophy. It's the North Division against the South Division, and through this crazy, challenging year, they should be viewed as the Pac-12 champion.
All right, that'll wrap us up. Thank you for taking the time today, Coach Lake and Rob. We'll get the Zoom recording out to everybody shortly. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.